Welcome to my lovely IHP community and the 5D collective. We have a new moon amongst us, and while 4D and 3D navigate ascension energies with the low frequency, we don't. And so we have the capacity as lovers who have intimacy, since we have curious, open sense of connection, and emotional, mature vulnerability, first of all, with ourselves, right? So if you don't want to be yourself and you don't want emotional maturity and mastery, self-help isn't for you, nor is the 5D collective at IHP. I'm a 5D mystic, mentor, content creator, podcast host in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. I have a lot of fun, and I bring to you human, spiritual, and spirituality elements. Those are subject matters. I let you know that human and spiritual and living a life that is true to spirituality involve you being your self as a ventral vagal state self, though, a whole self. So you have no child parts that need reparenting. You have self-awareness, accountability, and regulation. So you have intimacy first and foremost with yourself, which is why you have the capacity to be bilaterally, vertically, and overall integrated with the self. And so you have a connection and an openness and an awareness and a love when any emotion comes up and any thought. And so you know the thread to your vessel, the insula, is your heart. So the insula connects you to the body. And I'm just, again, food for thought, channel guidance, new moon, but we're trying to get the ball rolling. Okay, so when emotions come up, I keep my heart open. I know my gut is my first brain, my cerebral brain is my second, and I'm a primary and secondary human consciousness being. And that's why I love Sam Harris. I'm grounded in reality, and my cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable, but science and spirituality have come together to share with me the good news that you can have heaven in your body, and that's with self-love, and that's by being yourself. So once you're connected to yourself, the brain, the head, the mind, and you're integrated bilaterally, you have the thoughts and the feelings, but the feelings and its affect come up first. So you know self-regulation in your ventral vagal state, okay? So a heart that lives in recognizing itself and one another suffers not in life or love and relationships. And Maria does food for thought, channeled guidance for self-agents. And so it's not going to be the same as you've noticed others out there, just FYI. Mystic, content creator, podcast host, mentor, one-to-one. You email me if you want that. And that's with you having a goal in mind of wanting to create more resiliency in your restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating life, because you can put mindset skills into practice. Sifting through sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. Taking accountability for all of your actual behaviors. You don't drink, drug, fuck, do, inner outer critic, and all that business that we know need Patrick Chan, Terrell, people to get them out of the unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms, like that avoidant who's like, I don't want to do mindfulness, everybody suffers anyway, so I'm just going to stay this way and talk about it. Okay, so people who don't want to get their secure attached, they don't fill this up. So they don't have the life of spirituality because they're not capable to feel alive in the body. In fact, they tell you death is easier than living because their body weighs them down, and they think that it's because the body's the 3D energy. The body's not a 3D energy. The body is actually quite beautiful when it's in your restorative embodiment. You'll know when you get there, or if you're already there, I know it all the time. Eustress, not distress. Okay, so my heart lives in knowing that I can, yes, be heartbroken. And as an 11-year-old, I got to meet no 11-year-old that was emotionally vulnerable with me, because they all started to pretend, that's your flight response, to be mean, to protect themselves. And then by the time I'm 16, they all began just to be assholes, and I was like, I'm not going to hang out with them. So self-agents recognize others who are self-agents, and then we also recognize those who are bonding and those who are certainty. So fearful, bonding is sad, and then self-agent, it's about getting angry. But when you're a master of all of those three subcortical areas, thank you, Dr. Danny Siegel, I'm attachment trauma informed, you will notice which ones rule you and how, no, they all play a role. But you own yourself, okay? So when you own yourself, that's why you're going to be drawn to HP and all the content, and you might look for mentorship and our future retreats and workshops to hang out with people that are self-agents, and also, again, the masterclass. So to sign up for the masterclass and workshops, you email me, and for one-to-one mentorship, you email me with your request. Curious, open, accepting, and loving is what you are, and that's why you're in the present. And that's, thanks Dr. Daniel Siegel again, that's why you're using your prefrontal. So you are loving all of that which came before you, your love stories. They expanded you. They didn't actually have you grow bitter or heartbroken. You have grown more loving if you are in our 5D collective, because it's Christ consciousness. So Jesus forgave. He's the one who bore the cross and died for my sins, and I honor him. As you all will know that are regulars, I'm a co-author of the book, The Ways to God. It'll be published on June 28th. And the title of my chapter is God is Discerning Equanimous Love. Whether you're a mystic or spiritual, this is where your relationship to Akash, Source, and God is one that goes beyond that which they call time and space and matter. We can use the word subconscious if we want. We don't have to make it that complicated. And it also doesn't have to be diminished. I've never seen a medium ever. That's a sciences person. That's it. So you're flexible, adaptive, coherent, and energized and stable. Thank you again, Dr. Daniel Siegel, for all the acronyms, because you have an integrated brain. That's my brain. And so self-agents we are. So we all have a heart. The thread to your vessel is your heart, a heart that is open to the truth of you as part of all that is, and that gets to share life with a whole solo self in relationships with true love, because you don't take it back when somebody punches you in the face. Basically, a tu brute. I don't turn my back on you, Cusco. I'm a pacha. And I know that you're a human like me, and that the fallen angel is not Lucifer. The monsters that existed in books that didn't know how our bodies and brains were made, they're no longer valid. For the mystic in the enlightenment, functional child, adult, grown-up body here in front of you, who can tell you all about amazing as an Akashic record reader, my past lives, my future lives, souls that are connected, all of it, all of my expansion, light body, rainbow body. I have not ever once said, oh my God, I'm being punished. Oh my God, there's some energy vampire out there. No, when I've had people in my space, it's been a different story. So panic attacks were actually the most, I'm not going to say challenging, because I would say that there's a bunch of other people that have what are actual challenges, but if there's one thing that was mostly uncomfortable in my day-to-day life, were the panic attacks from all of that which comes with mysticism. For a person who lets you all know, it won't be sounding like, oh my God, but it won't be, let me prove to you how many years of intuitiveness I've had. I'm an online marketer and entrepreneur. I don't believe in vanity metrics, because I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. I believe in quality over quantity, and I know as a consumer what I buy into, and I know that I like to have quality, not quantity. Buyers, because that means that you are a person who knows what you want, and guess what? Those who know what they want do. A person who's committed, thank you Sadhguru, they won't know any failure, and they won't be saying, it ain't about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. It's about how much life can throw you down and you keep moving forward. That's how winning's done. Now, I love to do it in my ventral vagal state, but no, life don't hit me. Please don't offend God. Sylvester Stallone, I'm joking with you. I know who you're going to help. There are people who are hooked on drama. Now, believe me, as a teenager, young adult, I learned how to get out of the waves. There in Tara Brock has a nice video for you if you want to get out of those waves. I stopped venting on my own, and people said, you can't, you're human. And I said, yes, it's because I'm human that I can. I had no person apparently who knew of mindfulness or mindsight, and I did it anyways. I did it my way, and now the time has come. Da, 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 da. Okay, no, I did do it my way, but I didn't have to actually do it alone. Yes, because are you lonesome tonight? No, you don't create emotional resiliency and mental resiliency and physical alone. So functional child adults, we find solutions because we love to talk and walk together in life as our true, authentic, higher selves, anchored in ventral energy, with emotions and thoughts that mature, expand, and consciously continue to contribute to our evolving human species and our evolving consciousness, human herd, and simply put, the evolution and expansion of you being yourself. Okay, so when you're anchored in ventral vagal state, that heart that lives within you recognizes itself in one another. You don't suffer in life or love or relationships because you recalibrate your nervous system, and like Dr. Daniel Siegel shared with me, Maria, differentiate. And you differentiate and you say, there's a me. And then there's a we. Oh, look, there's a we. And so that's why lovers have intimacy. Because we're curious, open to ourselves. So we have a sense of connection, again, to my own embodied brain. And my child parts are all asleep. And I bring emotional, mature vulnerability to you. And so this new moon, again, allows anyone to settle into what is an expanded version of you. Now, you all come from different walks and paths of lives. Meaning some of you might have just recently began your physical mastery. Others might have been on your physical mastery, meaning that you own your mind and your emotions, your thoughts and your emotions, okay? When I say own, it means you own the sense of self. So you do have the, I don't suffer what I experienced in my love stories. I don't suffer yesterday's news because there's nothing to suffer. You don't use your temporal junction, so you don't ruminate. You don't use alcohol or drugs or fucking or inner outer critic or the, I'm fighting some battle, I'm going to watch my back. If you fuck me over, you don't use any of that, which is projection, and that needs reparenting, and that is actually tiring your body out. The modulated embodiment, dysregulated people. That's unfortunate business. But again, they have bitterness and heartbrokenness and tell you that they don't actually trust anything, and you leave it alone because everybody will make sense to themselves, and they disregard Patrick Tian, who tells you you can love yourself first, but you might need guidance if that's a confusing, shaming, letdown sentence. And Terry Real tells you that too. So for me, we're all fierce lovers here because, again, we take healing trauma seriously. We don't have it. And when we do, we say, I'm sorry, Mom, my 3-year-old, she's still here. And so I'm still working to become aware in the moment of the reactivity. And really what I probably need to do is journal and spot the trigger somehow. Okay, so we don't suffer love. We don't suffer our relationships. We don't have drama stories. Okay, so no new moon brings you drama, no full moon, but you do get the opportunity to create the emotional, mature mastery of you and be vulnerable with another. And that's because we have safe haven, secure base relationships, the secure attachment figures. Okay, and so as lovers, we're only lovers because we're pursuing mental, emotional, and physical maturity. And we are actually in no way, shape, or form doing unhealthy self-worth, emotionally immature and unavailable interactions, and unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms. Okay, so again, nobody pats themselves on the back if they're doing something that is actively not I promise to you to love you till, for better, for worse, for sickness and in health, richer and poorer. Okay, and that is with the entirety of you. So you don't make a vow, you can't commit if you're not a consistent, contingent communicator, and if you're not open to the sense of self and to supporting you to live life where you wake up with a thought and an emotion that is positive. It's not fake positive. It's positive because you have all the basic human emotions, and you can use a prefrontal cortex. So processing and metabolizing emotions happens because you are able to put mindset skills into practice. That's why the inner growth mindset supports you. That's why self-help is made for you. My food for thought channel guidance is for people who want more emotional mastery, maturity, by creating the lifestyle mindset choices that bring you to be resilient in your restorative embodiment, and or to access it if you're just now moving from modulated to resilient in restorative. So you might have fallbacks, but you'll notice that the way down and the unnecessary distress, because that's how it works when you start to perceive you stress versus distress. When you start to perceive mature you with anger, sadness, again, fear versus not mature. And when I say mature, I mean that you know how to get into the present, focus attention, your breathing, and the awareness. Oh, look, I got a little rigid or chaotic here. Let me, again, bring love, kind intention, because otherwise you're not going to tell the body she's worried about you. So you tell the body we're safe, and you're, again, recalibrating. Or there's also other words people use. I don't make it fancy. Okay, so that's why we're lovers. We pursue mental, emotional, and physical mastery, maturity as a whole self. You're the whole self, and so you're a verb, and like love is a verb, you consistently are on a high. And we get to bring the best out of each other. So if you have a counterpart, they bring the best out of you, you bring the best out of them. And that's where monoamory, polyamory, we coexist together. Nobody is actually telling anybody how to love and not to love, because that's bullshit. You love because you're a securely attached, non-traumatized person, because you're able to be mindfully aware as yourself know you're flawed, I'm flawed, but that when you get stressed in any way, shape, or form, upset, scared, whatever, you're able to breathe through it, differentiate, and notice, okay, what kind of a thing am I dealing with? I got to master this thanks to my oversoul. It's thanks to everybody around me that I got to become that which is a mental, emotional, and I'm still a pain in the ass, FYI, just so you know. I, though, believe in myself. I've had this since as a teenager. And so it's okay, and I believe in you. And when we believe in each other, we support each other again to be the best version. Okay, so love brings out the best of us as we enjoy living the infinite higher human consciousness potential experience and being self-agents who choose well-being, intelligence, integration, authenticity, and resiliency in the ventral vagal state. And as Sadhguru shares, it is the ability to bring out the best in others that makes you a leader. We have our fearful brothers and sisters of leaders, and we have our lovers who are leaders. And the lovers are truly intelligent, and so we are neither influenced by memory nor deluded by imagination. Thank you, Sadhguru. But we are aware of our implicit, explicit memory and our imagination, and then we take accountability, and we don't let our stories navigate the plane of existence and call them something they're not. So we are grounded in reality. Again, in many ways, science and spirituality come together, which is why when I tell you prophet, guru, one and the same, is not to diminish those individual groups of people or their stories. No, but they're one and the same when you go and look at what they're bringing forth. In one case, we have heart and mind of God that they are telling you. In another case, I don't know how they talk about it, but Akash, source divinity, it's an energetic imprint and it's consciousness. So science and spirituality, it's one line for the analogical brain right here with the left linear brain. It all makes sense because the two can touch. It's when they're imprisoned by the left brain. Those people, excuse me, confusing science, spirituality. No, I'm not. Excuse me, you can't say that. You can't make prophet and guru all the same. How dare you? Thank you so much, Cusco. I didn't ask you. So the people who like to explore concepts, yes, we don't go and do what people who instead are in their divisive groups. I mean, nobody's taking away anything. You're saying that I'm taking away importance. You're imprisoned by that one word needing to stay fixed with those 7 to 10 parameters. So you're limited in your scope of consciousness and are actually getting upset. Your affect is coming through when you tell me I'm taking away. Well, I'm not taking away anything. That's your personal subjective experience. And when people say objective, I say data is very specific. You need air, water, food. I don't see anybody taking care of the earth right now. In fact, environmentalists have to fight with people to get them to believe that the environment is in danger. How do you want that? I can play that. And it's not about me not eating meat at all, because others, if you love animals, you won't eat meat. Just saying. So really we must. And the linearity to me would be, well, since we do need air, again, water and food, every single brain out of the 8 billion people out there, there's only one thing, grown-ups, that we would be focused on had we been smart enough to notice what we need to physically live. Apparently, instead, people are quite distracted. Oh, and so, anyways, this is what the imprisoned people do, okay? They waste so much. Then there's your masculines, by the way, which is why it's don't waste my fucking time. And then God chimes in to remind me not to be so harsh. And really, he's just chiming in so I can expand like I'm doing right now. Because it's not a waste of my fucking time. I consciously chose to hang out with my brothers and sisters so that they are limited consciousness and fearful ones doesn't make it a waste of my time, because I would be disrespecting God. I would be a bad girl. Now, oh no, I'm bad. Look, I'm so selfish. I want to make sure that I get patted on the back and that I'm good and that God says, praise you, praise you. I mean, really, you can twist the story to however you want if somebody wants to. That's why manipulation. It's hilarious to me, that word. And when people don't understand why, I wonder, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. Do you understand when it's not personal? Anyone? Because really, I mean, how many different ways do you want to come at me, quote unquote? You're not coming at me. Life don't hit you hard. God don't hit me hard. I have conversations all the time. Okay, so again, emotions and thoughts, very fun. And nobody owns words. Nobody owns God. Nobody owns spirituality. We have ways that we'll explain something, definitions. People who want us to stick to the dictionary like yesterday apparently don't remember that Shakespeare wrote in ways that I don't understand. I need a translator and then I can tell you all about it, and I don't want to speak like Shakespeare. not interested in speaking like Shakespeare. If you want to speak like Shakespeare, I mean, I remember as a teenager making up languages that I completely forgot. I'm just saying. So, there's a change, and then there's those who are like, yep, things move into the present. And I never thought I'd see so many 3D, 4D people out there who don't like education or science or technology and think that they're going to, in some way, shape, or form, take away our humanity. And I'm like, you do realize they can't, even if they help you to live. Like, just saying, like, aren't you happy your brothers and sisters can live longer? And so, our emotions and thoughts, again, we are getting to experience them with enthusiasm, curiosity, and they're an open opportunity to be the person that you will have chosen to be. That's what makes lovers really fun, because our default mode network is downregulated, and so we're not performing or seeking approval from one another or society. Because myself is not scanning, I'm going to be fine with you because you're not going to make me afraid of being rejected. Because I have self-acceptance, which means even if I'm a cockroach, my mother still loves me right here. Okay, so you're accepting, and when someone points a finger and calls you evil son of a whatever, you understand that's not true. So I'm a mystic, I'm spiritual, I love God. You know how many people probably don't think of me as godly, meaning as a child of God, but as a child of something else? I already knew that. I didn't need anybody to come tell me. The first download I got when I got Claire's, now some of your brothers and sisters won't love you, but it's okay because you know where your heart is at, and you know that God speaks in many different ways, and Reiki is not a nasty energy, and yoga don't bring demons out of you. And people who are bullshitters don't know Patrick McNamara, Decentralizing of the Self, or Stephen Porges, and how your embodied brain works, or Peter Levine, and muscles, bones, and tissues store trauma charges. So when a child doesn't like what they hear, I don't need to hang around ignorant people, which is why, thank you, God. Yeah, I won't judge it a fucking waste of my time. I just explained to you why an empowered divine feminine has her own empowered divine masculine and won't be listening to pseudo-intellectual bullshit, but I'll be having fun with it. I am pseudoscience because I ain't the science lady. That's the Neil, I love you, man. Neil deGrasse, he shares how we have a miracle of life. God had already told me about that. And people went out of their way to make sure that I would know how much they suffer life, and that it was not right of me to tell them that I had been taught that it's a sin to take your life. So they actually went ahead to let me know how much they suffered life, how much it's wrong for anybody to talk about sin with God and a belief by the way of faith. But you, if you're common sense, you just know it's a faith. It's not, I don't have to follow that faith if I don't believe in God. You don't have to argue about it. You could just leave it alone. But in the meantime, I'm like, wow, I'm so sorry for you. And then I think, you know what? God is discerning in quantumous love. He forgives, and he knows his children suffer. So I'm pretty sure that there's no reason to worry about some monster and something, that's going to happen to somebody who's suffering, because no God that's created their own children would want them to be suffering the way that these people make me understand they don't want to live. And so there you go. It's not a justification, it's an explanation, because, again, when someone makes sure that you understand how much they suffer being alive, and they don't take themselves to therapists though, and then they continue to be hooked on their stress and drama without 1 second considering what they're telling you in their own words, then again, I forgot, lack of self-awareness people. They don't give a shit about you because they can't. They don't live a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. They're a donkey on a wheelhouse. Shame, blame, fault, revenge. There's your adopted child part people. Unbridled self-expression, all about them, all about how whatever, and above all, in a low frequency of their sympathetic and their dorsal vagal. I don't perceive the suffering. I just understand it, because that's what compassion is. I can't do anything to recalibrate your nervous system, and you're hooked on your, what is it called? Yes, that's right. Your ups and downs and merry-go-rounds and your fantasies. And then I get to find out that I've been actually thinking that you cared about me and us and the world. And then I realized, no, they're just hooked on their own invisible. Human beings suffer their own memory and imagination. That is, they suffer that which does not exist. Oh, it exists. But they've consistently use their imagination and the dark sides of neuroplasticity in movies to tell me that life is shit, and it'll hit you hard, and it'll keep hitting you, and every time you get hit. So, I mean, really, again, drug addicts of their own fantasy isn't something that I need to feel so sorry about anymore, because I realize they're just actually a performance. It's an act. And so when I hear anything, it's not, it's really not, it's oh wait, there's that karma wheel going on. I got a 0 8-year-old in the room. It's a teenager thinking they're badass, but as they get older, they're just stagnating, and there you go. So while they do that with their emotions and thoughts, 3D, 4D, we do something different. It's called integrity and enthusiasm. And so you have your flaws, you have acceptance, you pursue emotional and mental maturity and empowerment and mastery. And that's why you live a life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self. And you have the same heart, and we don't fit in the hole of anyone, and they don't fit in our hole. No, we ground ourselves in, and that's by being centered, and all of our chakras are nice and aligned, and we expand, and we believe in ourselves. Okay, so this is Bruce B. Wilmer. Believe in yourself to the depths of your being. Nourish the talents your spirit is freeing. Know in your heart when the going gets slow that your faith in yourself will continue to grow. Don't forfeit ambition when others may doubt. It is your life to live. You must live it throughout. Learn from your errors. Don't dwell in the past. Never withdraw from a world that is vast. Believe in yourself. Find the best that is you. Let your spirit prevail. Steer a course that is true. With integrity, flaws, and self-acceptance, you pursue that which is that emotional and mental mastery. And with the maturity, because you're chit-chatting and sharing, you are a self-agent who's consistently enlightening and expanding with yourself and with love. And then love is a permanent state because you are anchored in the ventral energy by engaging the ventral vagal state, which is your social engagement system, through the mindfulness practices in the awareness of your own inner world. So with the mindset skills that are easily accessible and the inner growth mindset. And neutrality and duality is why your love isn't a performance. And so you're flowing, the going with the flow, and you're growing and you're flourishing with yourself. And if there are other and or others, okay, but those other and or others are self-agents too. Otherwise, they're not flourishing. And when it comes to a limited piece of consciousness and an expanded consciousness, they're not really gonna be always, because I'm expanding and you're not. And so it's really two frequencies. We can walk next to each other, but it's going to be obvious to both equations that we're doing something differently with ourselves. And so again, it's not good or bad. It's just going to be something that you're going to be aware of. And with life and relationships, we're not way down, and we don't get bored or feel that it's old. But obviously, if you have a stagnating piece of energy, a person who's not expanding their intellect or their emotional plane because they're so way down, it's just going to be, again, their kind of frequency is on that end of the spectrum, and you're on yours. We got Sid, Manny, Diego, Cusco. We are functional child adults, and we say yes to integration and the restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating, resiliency, lifestyle, and mindset ideas. We grow more loving and energized thanks to navigating this lovely mental, emotional, and physical plane, the planes that are ours, our mind, body, our heart, our whole self. And so in the state of eustress, by engaging our social engagement system, we consistently bring forth not only our human, spiritual, and spirituality elements of our own, but we also bring forth our humanity and the expansion of consciousness. And so in a relationship, you are able to lift each other higher, and you are also able to consistently have ways that you will tune into each other and to live, laugh, love, and learn and expand because of not casting stones. Fear doesn't win, but it has a place in the unfolding of life, self, human evolution, and consciousness. And so that's why, as I have been sharing with you all, our lovely brothers and sisters of that frequency, they come along for the ride, they manifest, but their bodies don't consistently rejuvenate. Even those ours may rejuvenate, but we're still made of flesh. So, you know, this is that part of where there's a lot of things we don't know about the future. No need to create a visual. I know some people talk about the regenerative properties of our own body in ways that bring you forth, again, our ancient ancestors. So with the new moon, what I can tell you is that every one of you will have gotten an opportunity to have an aha moment, because that's what usually happens for those who live life with love, laughter, and expansion. And that your life and relationships are consistently expanding as well, because you have the heart that says yes to love, because you say yes to yourself, and because unconsciously loving oneself with flaws and imperfections, that's exactly what it means to be able to be yourself mindfully with integrity and flaws. It's not, I will tell you who you are. It will be, I will listen and understand what you're sharing with me, And then I will share who I am, and I will have one of two things with you. I will have another pacha, and we get to have a good time, or I will have a Cusco and a pacha. But I'll have a good time either way, because that's what a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul age group who's a functional or child adult can tell you. We always find a way to talk a talk and walk a walk. And so somebody who's an emotionally immature person will be a child. I will have a child in front of me, and I've handled many a children, and I don't want to handle them. So I learned how to effectively be able to recalibrate Maria, differentiate Maria, and allow myself to be that which is a human being who understands what a 3-year-old would have wanted all along, was simply put to express anger, sadness, fear, surprise, disgust, and happiness without any kind of being afraid that they would be rejected and abandoned and left out in the cold and and so it's just easy. The 3-year-old just wants a hug, and that's exactly what they'll get a hug, and I'll get to watch as they give me show and tell, and I had a good time and they had a good time. And no, I'm not teasing these people, but I do make fun of them here because really, again, it's humorous to say the least how many think that they are what is the truth of themselves. But then again, thank you, Terry Real. Everybody makes sense to their own self. And thank you, Stephen Porges, because yes, biologically rude people don't hear you. And thank you, Patrick Tan and Terry Real, because I know, thanks to you all, what paused self not loving people do. And so it's not a losing strategy, them coming in with argumentation and them talking over you and thinking they're right or wrong. You're just going to know you got another Cusco in town. So we have subjective and objective together, and we don't cancel that which is our own subjective experience, but we don't cancel that which is objective either. Okay, so that's why when someone says flat earthers are here because of you, it means because of being accepting of differences in a way of using words however we may please. But no, we have flat earthers because we have insecure people who follow morons. And those morons tell them that the earth is and whatever. And I mean, really, that's, again, as a mystic, I totally bring in stories from my plane, my oversoul, my twin flames, soulmates, right? My crystals, my Akashic record, all of it. I know what I experienced. But the difference is this. While some of my lovely mystic, spiritual, lovely group don't want to hear it, I know science explains every single one of that which is within our pseudoscience group of people. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, because it helps to explain in time to those who are needing proof, because imprisoned people, and they need proof. Sooner or later, that which is valid will be proven, because that's what always happens with data. They don't disprove God. You can't disprove consciousness, and they'll keep trying, because masculines are always fearful ones. That's why we don't waste our fucking time with them. Empowered feminines know exactly what there is to be afraid of, and there's only one thing, and we actually don't need to think about it, because our body, like animal's body, has primary consciousness. And we will not have lost the connection with the planet just because we live in society and cities and because some of us are empowered feminines, so we're always one with nature. Does it mean I will live forever? No. Does it mean I'll be physically? No, but God tells me I am. God keeps reminding me, and I'm just letting you all know, fun fact, empowered feminine isn't concerned for physical safety, because it's the number one thing she will know she doesn't want to lose is her physical life. It's not about attachment to my life. It means that we're appreciating embodying ourselves, pure consciousness, a piece of it, not the whole. The whole is with my brothers and sisters. And so new moon, full moon, all the moons, if you are a empowered feminine, you'll be noticing immediately your patterns. After 1 year, I was like, wait a minute, I think I have 12 months, and then I noticed seasons. And then I noticed that Sadhguru gave me some information. I was like, I knew it. I had spotted it. And intuitively, I had also noticed this other thing. So long story short, if you're empowered feminine, you're pretty much consistently a clairvoyant, clairaudient, clear all of it. And you just know things. And then you connect the dots, and not in a way of needing to prove it. No, it'll all be okay. And so with that, it'll all be okay. And the ones who think AI is too optimistic, they don't realize that common sense people evaluate all angles and corners, and they do that without fear, which is why it's not negative. It's not pessimism or optimism. It's I have the capacity to be truly intelligent. I am neither influenced by my memory nor deluded by my imagination. My memory, again, will involve a number of things. So just because yesterday something happened, I don't go and say it'll happen for sure in the future. Do you understand what it means to be in the present? And then to take all information, to sit with it. Wait, I'm so sorry. I do. And so you're able to sit with a bounty full of information and notice it all. And it's like, wow, I have myself a game tonight. Oh my God, this is going to be so fun. That's how an empowered feminine works with anything that is words. But masculines, they are just so needing it to, and so that's why they really, I have to say, I understand them. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to organize and structure all of that stuff. And so that's why we make a team, because I'm impulsive and they're contemplative. And then they're reactive and I'm not, anyways, I'm just kidding with you all right now. I'm adding some fun to this, but the empowered feminine is all I know. I don't know the masculine. I just know that they slow me down because they make it really boring to talk. Then they make it really boring to hop, and then they make it really boring to just do anything. And it's like, okay, it was amazing. So amazing to hear you out today. Thank you so much. I will see you later, alligator. And that's how you can thank your brothers and sisters once you're done. Bringing together again human, spiritual, and spirituality elements. Our lovely lovers, they get to come together as self-empowered, enlightening, mystic, spiritual, and mindful people. We have confidence. We have clarity. We are self-agents of our true selves, and that's why emotions and thoughts as functional inner child adults, our body, mind, heart, and self are in harmony. And lovers, they have intimacy because the first curious open sense of connection is with ourselves, and then we have also emotional mature vulnerability with ourselves, and we love to share it with another. And so we consistently expand together under the umbrella of unconditional love with flaws, imperfections, and again, monoamory, polyamory. We come together. Those who are intelligent don't actually do characterological distinctions because they know how to watch and wait as they are loyal to that which they love and consistently know that there are sweet results from when we're having a contemplative and interactive moment, this and that are true, with that lovely prefrontal. So what we do is give each other that which is the generous, independent interaction, okay? We all can be independent, like a cat. Na, 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 na. Anybody? Right? There's a cute, what was it called? The Aristocrats. And so the great mystery of life allows all your dreams to come true when you're creating a life of dharma. And we all have karma, but we just don't continue building it. And so we know what karma we bring. And again, that's for another time. But right now, your new moon, believe in yourself, has expanded. You've taken some leaps of faith. You've been able to let it shine and you're knowing it. And you're having a good time, not just acting as a chameleon. You are completely learning from the past. As it comes up, you're able to surrender to it because you don't need to reclaim your power by projecting it, but instead you share it in a intimate relationship. That's why we support each other. We support each other to become the best version of ourselves. Again, so we have both strength and the hermit within us. And we have it thanks to the prefrontal cortex, where you're an integrated brain, and then you get to share a life of meaning and connection with that counterpart and your entire herd. And so we bring not only harmony to our ecological system, is how Terry would call it, so to my partnership, that's the lover partnership, but I will also bring it to my entire herd. And that is because I know how to be love, equanimous, discerning like God is to me. And no, I don't embody divinity, but I can say that I will overflow with humanity and therefore divinity descends, which really just means consciousness and change is one. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel, my integrated brain. And that's why you do enjoy mindfulness practices, because you have mindset skills. You like the inner growth mindset. And above all, you like to be yourself mindfully with flaws, imperfections, with integrity. So join us again for some more at IHP, lovely 5D Collective. I'm finally 100% assured of what I know to look for and why our community will keep on growing with those who do want to be their self, who do believe in their self, and who do want emotional maturity and mastery, and therefore self-help is for them. And so is that which is personal development, spiritual development, again, growth, expansion, light body, rainbow body, you name it, the cards, everything. We have a good time with it because why not? I mean, really, it's fun. I don't want to be a science lady. I like being a pseudoscience lady. And I like to be a lady who says, when it comes to planning, yes, like a workout, mindfulness practices support. You have goals, objectives. Again, mentorship is one thing. The content here, we have fun together. And channeled guidance, food for thought is what I share with you all because we don't need a specific, even though once our tiers are out, that's going to be a different story. So I have different modalities of when I'm giving you food for thought channeled guidance. This one was a bit of this and a bit of that. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by.